almost like being in college again.
It is, because you have midterms,
Yes,
exams. Uh,
yes, ma'am.
mm. And Mr. Mobley, while we're waiting on Mr. Evans to come back, he's completing the program. I have one more class left. Mr. Mobley, tell the newbie what's to expect now that you're at the end of contract ready.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hello, Miss Paula. How are you?
All right, can I see your face?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm on my cell phone. I'm not on my
Uh,
computer. So let me see if I
that's
can
okay.
get this.
Okay, there
Okay.
we go. Yes.
Okay. All right. Wow. What to expect? A lifetime of knowledge. What I've learned is that Miss Paula's class is different from some of the other classes. We learn life lessons in this class, not just about how to make money. Okay, even though that's why you're there, and I get that. I get that. But you learn so many different things about doing business the proper way. Okay, it's you're gonna learn so much in such a short amount of time. It will seem overwhelming, but once you start getting to the end of the class, it starts to click. And it's like, okay, it's all coming together now from day one. Okay, so now I see why you had us do this. I see why you had us do that, and now it's all coming together. So we're a lot confident, everyone in her class. Is that good enough, Miss Paula?
That is. Thank you. Thank you. And I see some old school. Miss Allen, how you doing? She's in Drench. Welcome back. We have some new ones. Cara Solomon. And then Terrence is here to join us. And welcome, Terrence. Before I jump in, I always like to give a little housekeeping of what's coming up, what's going on with GPI. Um, Always go ahead and put your information in the chat. It's all about collaboration. It's all about utilizing the community we have within, understanding how collectively we can pull our resources together and go after the larger contracts now that everyone is speaking the same language. Always like to recognize those who have completed the program and the contracts. We've had two students who have won two contracts this year after taking the class and starting in October and August. So the methodology works. You just have to put the work in. Next week, we're going to have Monique Carter. She just left Georgia Power. Most of her working history was in the acquisition, and I talked her into coming in and talking to you guys on providing the inside scoop on how to maneuver your MBEs and those certifications. And she's going to create actually a curriculum just like GPI that literally walks you and prepare you to go and talk to those corporations. So that's next week. Make sure you join in. Um, Also, pass the word. We're now offering self-paced where you can just go at your pace, but still have access to the office hours that are on Tuesday and the lab sessions that are on Thursday. The next information session is March 30th, with the class starting April 10th with Mr. Lord. Mr. Lord is out of DC. He has managed the IT space for years with DoD, managing contracts with 200 million, able to help a small business in their acquisition and merging. So spread the word, spread the word. We also have this GovCom formula where, again, these are my little babies. I like to say they're grown up and have taken over. That conference will be May 2nd. If you missed them, we're tied into NARAB, and we're going to have the same panel where we're going to be talking about their journey. I'm the only one fortunate enough to be able to watch them when I met them at SBA and to see their growth. And their growth is $1.5 billion in contract awards. So I'm excited about that as well. But today we have Mr. Evans here. He's going to tell his story, talk about his journey. It's important for me that we understand our backgrounds because for me, it's all about how you got to the end point. Everyone sees you and see you there, but they don't know the struggles that came before or the challenges and the lessons learned to get there. And even now, still trying to maintain that business as you continue to grow. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Terrence Evans. Hi, Terrence. You have to unmute your phone. Can you unmute?
How about that?
That works. So, Mr. Evans, we have been promoting it and based on your bio, but that's all, in words. I'd like to hear it from you, your perspective. Where are you from? A little bit of your background and what has been your path to get to this day.
Okay, should I get started now, Paula?
Yes, sir.
Can you all see me?
Yes.
Okay, first I'd like to thank you, Paula, for giving me this opportunity to share my story. So I want to thank you to start there. Typically when I speak with individuals, companies all the time, one thing that people know about me, I try to keep it real. I mean, I'm not this dude who has become successful in some people's eyes and think he's all that. No, I'm still that regular dude, born and raised in the inner city of Chicago. Okay, so that's my background. Why I come from Chicago. That being said, why education was not important in my family. We going to school was not important. I went to school. I wanted to go party. I wanted to become an Omega Psi Phi. I wanted to party and drink and chase girls. So I went to college, starting out, and guess what? After that first semester of getting a 1.2 GPA, it was time to go home because again, I was on academic probation. So that's how I got my start, just trying to leave Chicago.
So what made you know that education was going to be the pathway for you to get out of Chicago?
Well, I'm not gonna say that. I just knew I wanted to do something different. What that was, I had no idea. Just something different from what I've been raised around. That's it.
Yeah.
So if there was education, if there was the military, I didn't know. I just wanted something better.
Okay.
So therefore, starting out, went to college and got flunked out of college. Went back home and started working at McDonald's. Like, what the hell I'm gonna do now? Then my girlfriend got pregnant. Like, what the hell I'm gonna do now? So next thing I know, I decided to join the military, and that was things start to change. That's where I got my discipline from. That's where I started to see life a little bit different. It opened my eyes. After about 10 and a half years in the military, I hurt my knees playing basketball. And Uncle Sam said, hey, we have no need for you anymore. So therefore, you're damaged goods. But they said, though, I'm going to make you rich. They'll give me $42,000 cash money. So I'm like, yes, I never had $42,000 in my life. So I thought I was like, I'm rich. So if I I thought I was rich. So therefore, what I did do was go back to college. I was more mature now. I went and got a Bachelor of Science in accounting. And from that, I started working in corporate America. Then I went back and got my master's degree in business. I worked for Lucent Technologies. I worked for RJ Reynolds Tobacco Corporation. I worked for Emory University. Then
what were you doing in the corporation? What type of positions were you holding?
I was an accounting finance manager.
Okay.
I knew enough to be dangerous. Again, it wasn't my calling to be in corporate America, but I knew I needed to have a job to support my family. And I went into accounting, so therefore I did accounting. I wasn't happy with accounting. It was a job. So therefore, since I had a job, I tried to do it the best I could. So, but it was just a job. But then the State Department was doing some recruiting for U.S. diplomats. Again, coming from Chicago, inner city, I couldn't even spell U.S. diplomat. I had no idea what the hell a U.S. diplomat was. But they was recruiting for U.S. diplomats, and they were looking for folks with military backgrounds and corporate America background. And therefore, I fit that bill. So I applied and I got assigned to what's called NEA Bureau, Near Eastern Affairs Bureau, and we oversee the whole Middle East. That was our job. So my job with the State Department was to oversee contracts that they was giving to government contractors. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but that was my job. So after getting started doing that, I realized this was a quite very lucrative business. And we was giving contracts, in my opinion, to idiots. I said, excuse my language, I said, shit, I can do this here. I mean, I got a little street sense in me, a little savviness. So I resigned from the State Department in 2009 and I formed TJ Fact LLC. So we just exceeded 15 years in business this past January, okay?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. But when I started the business, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to make some money. That's all I knew, nothing else. And I had a mentor who was one of my former government contractors, and he was doing about 200 million a year. But I did not vet him at all. I mean, he was crazy. I rather deal with folks in Chicago who was gangbangers and drug dealers than deal with this dude here. But all thing I saw was just money. I didn't vet him to see his character. So after about 2 or 3 years of doing work with him, that thing finally fell apart, and I decided to get on my own. So therefore, from that standpoint,
Lessons learned from that, because again, I had a partner and I went through a lawsuit that took me down.
yeah.
So what would you share with others as it relates to, because you got to team, you got to build relationships. So what would have been something you would have done differently?
Not focus on the money.
Mm,
Not focus
mm,
on money. Focus on what you're trying to build. If you build the right way, money will come.
yes.
My thought process: this man making 200 million a year. If I make a quarter what he making, I'm doing good. That's how that was my thought process. That was the wrong thought process.
Mm.
So my thing is to focus on building a quality product, providing quality service, and then if you do that the right way, the money will follow.
Well, at what point did you realize this wasn't going to be a right? And was it a divorce, or had you have to go through any legal challenge to decipher the relationship?
Well, I would say that I knew it wasn't going to work when one day I came to the office, and the office I was sharing his space, they was packing my stuff up, and some things were being said about me that wasn't true. And what I did was I was kind of pissed, so I went back to my Chicago days. So I went home, I put my old Jodeci boots on. I'm just being real. I put some jeans on. And I came back around 11 o'clock, no, about 7 o'clock that evening. I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight. So at that point in time, I said, hey, it's time for you to move on and do something different. That's why it's time to move on. But
Okay.
there was some legal battles. He did threaten to sue me and things like that. And we worked through it. And actually what happened was I ended up settling with him. Although I wasn't wrong, when you're trying to fight someone who got a lot of money and your money is small, you need for the problem to go away. So I think I ended up settling for like $25,000. I just need the problem to go away.
And for me, I think had I known once I got was hit with that lawsuit, it was 2 years of my life I couldn't get back. But I'd never been sued, so I thought it was going to be like a 3 or 4 months thing, and no. So very good.
Well, after spending several $1,000s trying to fight someone who has endless cash, you
Yeah.
realize real fast, I need this problem to go away.
Okay. Good. So you moved on, and now your focus has shifted. Where's your focus shifted?
Again, trying to figure out who I was, trying to get an identity. So
Mhm.
at that point in time, the plan was to pursue getting the 8A, but at the same time, I'm just getting started, and I didn't know how to spell 8A. I mean, what the hell? How you spell 8A? I just know everybody who's 8A making a lot of money. So I decided to go ahead and get started as far as pursuing RFIs and pursuing all kind of small contracts. And we got contracts starting out where we made $250 a month. But guess what? That was $250 more than what I had. So
Mm-hmm.
you start building with real slow growth, 1 or 2 bodies here and there. Eventually it started to grow from 5 bodies to 10 bodies to 25 bodies to 50 bodies. It started growing that way.
So your very first contract was doing what and for how much?
My very first contract I did was teaching the Iraqi leadership government how to speak English as a second language. So
Wow.
we flew to Iraq to teach the Iraqi government how to speak English as a second language. Yeah, it was
Wow.
like $875,000.
Okay. 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 Wow.
So therefore, I flew into Iraq with no security, going around with no security, scared as hell. But at the same
From
time,
Chicago.
I signed up for the contract and we had to make it work, and we made it work.
Okay. Okay. And that was for how long? Was that just run and done, or
It was
it
one
was
and
one
done, correct.
year?
It was
Okay.
about a good 6-month period.
Okay. Okay. All right. So then you won that before you got the 8A or after you got the 8A?
Before we got the 8A.
Okay.
Before we
Okay.
got the 8A. So we got 8A into 2012.
Okay.
I got that contract right around 2010, 11. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you get into the 8A program. And I think a lot of people have a misconception of the 8A program. They think once I get that 8A, everything is just going to come to me, and SBA is just going to give me all those contracts. And that's not the role of SBA. So once you got the 8A, how was you able to understand that program and begin to leverage that certification?
Well, I would say that my approach to the 8A program is different from a lot of people. Some people say you need to be focused on one agency or two agencies, and that's it, and find your niche. I looked at it a little different. I said this 8A I have is like a smorgasbord. The key for me, if I can find the skill sets to do the job requirement the government want, I don't give a care what it was. So for me, our capability expands from cyber security to biometrics to admin to finance to finding priests for military bases to finding. We've done it all because the 8A program, by them being able to sole source to you, it affords you the opportunity to do different things. I mean, so we have a smorgasbord of things of what we do.
Where do people, when you're marketing, does people, when they see all that you've done, because that's what I try to teach in the program, you don't have to pigeonhole yourself. But when they start marketing them, they'll tell them that you're all over the place. What do you really do? Do you get that kind of pushback?
Well, no, you got to tailor your marketing slick to the opportunity you're pursuing. You can't have every damn thing. I do everything. Nah, that don't make sense. So therefore, whatever you're pursuing, you tailor that particular slick to show them what they need to see. Don't just put everything on there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you got certified in 2012. When did you receive a 8A contract?
2012.
2012. You
Our
walked in the
first,
door.
our first contract was for $4.5 million with the State Department. And
Okay.
since then, we've been in the State Department ever since 2012.
Wow.
Over 12 years now, and I said we probably made at the State Department alone probably 200 million at the State Department alone. So
Wow.
that was our first client with the State Department under 8A program.
And which is interesting because most people, and you and I have been involved with NCMA, most people focus on HHS, DOD, and VA and GSA. So they don't look at the other agency. So Department of State, that's another, you didn't really have that much competition, I would probably say, would you?
Now, I had quite a bit of competition, but for us, again, I believe in spread my wings. I want to fly. So we had State Department, we had FEMA, we had Department of Justice, we had Department of Homeland Security, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, CDC, Department of Energy. Again, if there's opportunities out there that we feel that we can put the people in place, we pursue it. I mean, we don't stay stuck on one agency or two agencies.
I like
Where it came about networking. Networking is so important because again, I might have met someone at NCMA who was with GSA. We established a relationship. They said we got a requirement. Look at it. Or I might have met someone at HUD. So therefore, I just think when you start to network and meet people, it just takes you in different directions.
Yeah. I think what I find with a lot of our students, they just focus on one area. I'm just going to bid, bid, bid. Bidding is only, I would say, a small piece of the equation. Do you agree?
I agree. I say bid is one thing, submitting a proposal is one thing, but winning and executing is an entirely different thing. You must, once you win, you must find a way to execute. Because again, if you win, don't execute, you might as well win. because then you create a bad name for yourself.
And can you elaborate on what you mean by execution and what types of things that you would need in place? And I try to prepare them before they win contracts and setting up their operations and the foundations. So again, you've grown from this amount to that amount. So how did you manage the in between and establishing your operations?
I would say everybody's path is different. When I got started, I spent all of my 401k money. I was broke as hell trying to get this thing going. So therefore, when it came time to try to hire people, I was like, what do I do? I don't know. So therefore, once I started to win work, my process was this here. Let me find a talent that I can have in numerous different areas of the business, who was hungry, who was sharp enough to assist us in PMO, who can assist us in finance, who can do HR. My whole thing, let me find a skill set that they can do several different things within the organization. That's how I built my organization. It wasn't just going to get an HR person or a finance person. It was just finding the right skill set who was hungry and wanted to learn.
Which is sometimes challenging, because to me, I think finding the right team and the right players and people that, align with your values is the biggest challenge I find with most companies. How about you?
I do as well. People is your greatest asset and your damn biggest liability. Again, I can say my executive team that I have, most of them have been with me at least 7 years. Now, other folks have come and gone, but the executive team itself has been around for a while because they're committed to what we're trying to do. But people is your biggest headache. I'm not gonna lie to you, your biggest damn headache.
Yes.
And with the whole pandemic, it's gotten even worse. Yeah, everybody think they're a damn business owner, but they're not. Yeah.
And everybody wants to get paid, but they don't want to work.
That is correct. Yeah. That is correct.
Yes. And again, for me, being where you were and starting as a small business and growing and not really having a clue, I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company. And when I got sued, it's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? So did you take a lot of training? How did you educate yourself to make sure you were prepared for whatever?
I would say this here. The people that I end up hiring are very much smarter than me. So I believe in surround myself with very smart, intelligent people. I'm gonna say this in a jacked way. I'm the dummy in the room, okay? And I don't mind saying that, okay? But again, they came with skills that I didn't have. They came with backgrounds I didn't have. But at the same time, collectively, we was able to establish a good team. Yeah,
which is so important. And people have the same vision. And for me, my red flags when people are trying to hang on is people coming in about money. If money is the only thing that you're going to talk to me about, I'm not interested.
if I can give you a quick example, I remember I hired one of my first key hires. My executive assistant said, hey, I know this person, she's a sharp lady, you gotta talk to her. When I spoke with her, I was very impressed I had no job for her. I said, hey, I'm gonna offer you a job right now, paying $40,000 a year. What you gonna be doing? We're gonna figure this shit out together. I have no idea. I said, but if you stay with me within a year, I have you over 100,000. If you stay with me within 5 years, I have you own your own company. And currently, she owns her own company now. I just knew she was a sharp individual. We gave her a chance. She stuck with me. We made it happen.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel, and you have the same philosophy. We're bringing others along with us.
Correct.
And as opposed to making them be our competitors.
Correct.
So you do give a lot back to the community. What makes you drive? What is that your why that you're doing this? What is your why?
I would say my why, again, I've been very fortunate, been very blessed to fall into this line of business. I didn't know what I was doing. So therefore, my whole thing is how do I go about uplifting others? How can I bring others along to say, hey, I played a part in their success? So truly to uplift others, bring folks along, to provide a mentorship to people, that's truly is my why. But when I said it though, So to the folks on the call, I get calls all day long, said, you told me that your thing is to uplift others. And therefore I need you to mentor me. I like, there's a whole list of folks in line before you, okay? Yeah.
Yes, everybody wants you. You're trying to run a business. I can mentor you, but for so much, but you have to do the work. You know, people want to just jump right into the winning contracts. And for me, it's so much more than that. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Again, I spoke at CDC, they had a summit about 3 weeks ago, and they deemed me to be successful, and they want me to speak on success. So I told one of my things, well, I took the word success and I created an acronym. So I said, to start with S, there's steps to this process. There's no such thing as getting rich overnight. It's not a pyramid scheme thing. It's a process. And if you don't follow those steps, you'll not be successful. I say you gotta be unwavering. You gotta be unwavering what you're trying to do. So I just walked them through that whole acronym that I created to say, hey, if you're sincere and true about what you're trying to do, it's a process to this thing. If you follow the process and you're committed, you can't be successful based on that term.
Mhm. And what do you define success? People define success different.
I define success being able to get up every morning and do whatever the hell I want to do. I mean, I define success being able to give back to others and uplift them. That's how I define success.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So what I've heard is making sure that you have a right team that's smarter than you, that's going to be able to guide you and help you. And that was some of the things I did in that first business. I went through, again, 6 8 companies before I started my business and was learning and listening to them. Um, so along the way, you graduated from the program as a when?
We graduated in February 2022. We graduated over 2 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is things different, or what's a shift once you graduate and leave the program?
Well, we compete more against people of mid-sized companies like ours, but at the same time, from a revenue perspective, we've actually grown since we left the 8A program. I say, because we are 8A stars as well, and we team with the right partners, and we don't mind subbing. At the same time, we provide mentorship to other companies that come along, so we sub to them. It's a multitude of different things. So again,
I love
although the 8A program was great, you still got to be prepared to leave there and find ways to still be creative and continue going to business.
And did you have because what I found in servicing them at SBA is I have 40 businesses in my portfolio. Out of the 40, maybe 5 was truly winning, and they didn't receive their first contract to their 4th or 5th year. That's when I realized there's an issue here. And then what I also found was that most businesses did not prepare for an exit strategy. Did you come in the door with an exit strategy, or when did you begin to have your exit strategy?
Oh hell no, not they coming to not at all. I mean, again, when I came in, I just came in, if that makes sense. But I think one thing we should know as leaders, you should be learning and growing every day. And if you're learning and growing every day and you're paying attention to what you're trying to do and you understand the environment and the business which you're in, at some point in time it should click. I need to be prepared to exit this thing. So I say probably I've been in business 15 years, probably maybe year 10 or 11 when I started thinking. I mean, it was a long time. I mean, it was a long time. Maybe year 10 or 11, I started thinking about an exit strategy.
Uh, which is good. And what I love what you're saying is you're doing it from both angles. I don't necessarily have to be the lead. I can be a subcontractor. It's still money. It's still revenue coming in. How many employees do you currently have now?
Currently, I think we're about at 325.
Oh my goodness. How do you encourage your culture in your organization?
Well, my core values are I have 4 core values. The first one is to be your authentic self. Okay. I mean, I'm from Chicago, from the inner city. Most folks who know me, like they say, Terrence, keep it real. And I think it's important. Don't change. Don't let money change you. Even you work for someone, be yourself. My next core value is don't blame the customer. I mean, again, these customers, how we get paid. So therefore, make sure you take care of your customers. The next one is take care of your employees. Again, that's important. You need them to take care of your customers. And the last one is more so give back to the community. I have a nonprofit as well. So I encourage my employees and my coaches to follow my core values. If you follow my core values, as an employee, you win. Taking out as our customer, they win. You ain't got to change because you work for me. At the same time, uplift others by giving back to the community. So that's my culture that I try to establish within my organization.
And I think for me, that was probably the lesson that I learned from my first business, meaning I allowed my partner's values to take the lead. And he was a bully. He threatened the employee, caused the lawsuit. And had I had me in front, then the whole organization would have went with my personality rather than his. So it's important that you be the leader. I wasn't confident in myself.
If I can add to that, I remember I provided we got a training for the leadership team. It's called EOS training, and the guy named was Wayne Curzon, Caucasian guy. I can make a statement, not racist at all, but this white guy was trying to tell me what my core values should be. And I was like, shit. Actually, initially I was like buying to the shit he was saying, like, well, that ain't who I am. I need to speak to who I am as an individual. I think once I got that confidence about who I was, and I think it's okay to be who you are, things started to just flourish from there.
Yeah. And I think that was me too. I wasn't confident in myself of being a CEO or taking on that role. I just wanted to create a pathway to create jobs, not understanding who those employees, because it was all about help a brother, help a sister. And that I had to diversify because in the end, I was running a business and it didn't matter what color you were. It was about, are you doing the job? That's what it boiled. And do you have the same value system that I do? Because people are going to come in with their issues. That's not, they don't just, I'm working, I'm going to leave my issues at home. I don't care black, white, orange, green. People are people. So it is important that you get the right energy because it only takes one person to make mess up that team.
That is correct.
And so how do you manage are those contracts with employees on site or off site?
Yeah, I would say with COVID, things have changed. It's a mixed bag. So we still have employees on site. We have employees that's telecommuting. So it's just truly a mixed bag. But the way we truly manage it is to have the right corporate PMs in place and the right PMs in place that are on contract. Again, it's all about checking in. All about letting the employee know that you're there for them, but at the same time, you're not taking no BS either. So I think it's important to just always check in with them.
And so how do you go about that? Do you have like some type of system, monthly meetings? How are you staying connected with 325 people? That's a lot of people.
It's a mixed bag from Teams to Zoom to Google Meet to the telephone, the cell phone. It's just a mixed bag of putting people in place to, hey, this is your job to hold these folks accountable. We have a total of 3 corporate PMs. We have maybe 4 PMs on contract. So that's their job. And one thing I do as well myself, periodically I always call my employees, always call my customers, say, hey, this is Terrence, what's going on? And again, because I do all these random phone calls, I'm in the know quite a bit. So nothing surprising me. Yeah.
And for me, that's good hearing you say that because what I saw in a lot of the companies that I went through is that they lost connection with their clients, the customer. And so I was in a position because I was on a contract for 9 years. So I walked in the door with power, but they allowed me to get too close to their clients. So when I started my business, I made sure whoever came with that contract, that agency knew us. So are you still that hands-on and reaching out with your clients now, even at this size? How do you manage that?
I would say I am hands-on. Of course, some clients get more attention than others. So I truly am hands-on, yes. I mean, I like to show up. Again, COVID has somewhat changed everything, but I try to be as hands-on as possible. Because again, a lot of times the government people, they stand at home nowadays. They don't want to go back. So therefore, we got to find ways to connect with them on their schedule, and more times than not as via Teams or on the phone.
And so when you talk about um, COVID, what did that? How did it change as before COVID and after COVID? What steps did you have to take to market that you didn't do? Now, I think they're coming back. People are still coming back out and meeting, but that's just only one part of it.
Well, first of all, I can say that we grew during COVID. So that from a revenue perspective, it didn't hurt us all. But I say you just had to find creative ways to connect with people. Again, one thing I can say for those government folks who understand government contracting, some of them not afraid to meet you out at a coffee, Starbucks or whatever, or have a phone call on Saturday or Sunday. So one thing I've done in building my business, I've established with all of my clients, I'm T. I ain't Mr. Evans. You ain't gotta call me. My name is T. I'm Terrence. Let's keep it real, okay? And therefore, they respect it and they like that. So therefore, I can pick up the phone on weekends, say, "What's up, dog? How you doing?" And we can have normal conversation. And that's how it's been good for us in establishing a long-term brand with our customers.
But sometimes on the government side, and that's what there are challenges with those their people too. So how do you overcome working with government agencies who sometimes can be difficult? Is there a method or a secret to that? What do you do?
Well, I can say that sometime, well, not sometime, a lot of time, that Chicago and me come back. And I'm just being real. When I find those difficult relationships, although I can deal with them, but sometimes government folks can be quite rude, as if they shit don't stink. So, sometimes what I've learned myself, I have people in place who have more of a
Diplomat.
a softer touch than me. So therefore, I step aside because I know, therefore, because at the end of the day, we're trying to win. Now I will let them handle those situations. And then we play good cop, bad cop. So that's how I typically handle them. Yeah. Again, excuse my French, but for those who might know, yeah, y'all like to keep it. Yeah.
This is real. This is who you are. We ain't asking you to change for us. We
Got it.
know that. I have one of my other colleagues online from SBA, you know well, Miss Tansy,
Yes,
who has serviced 8A for 30 years, and now she's continuing to train them through our program. She said, did you continue your Hub Zone participation? So you had what certifications? What certifications did you have?
We had 8A, we had veteran owned, and SDVSOB, and we had Hub Zone. Actually, we just lost our Hub Zone. We just decertified last month. It's very hard to maintain, but so now we just SDVSOB as we are now.
Because I saw that working in Philadelphia. You're always trying to meet the numbers. And that's where the challenge comes with that program. I think it was more so designed for manufacturers in that space, I would say.
I can say that we got a contract out of CDC. There was a Hub Zone contract that we probably made maybe about 35 million in revenue, 40 million in revenue. So therefore being a Hub Zone, that one contract served its purpose.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that.
Yes, right. Served their purpose. Correct. Yes.
Did one certification, of course, was that more, did you have a balance as it relates to the awards under your certifications?
Hell no. 8A is the big dog of all. So therefore, I mean, it's unfortunate it's set up that way. So we had mostly our revenue did come from the 8A program, but at the same time, we had still a good mix of revenue, but mostly from the 8A program.
And do you have the challenge with the competing with these Super 8As? They don't like to be called that, but that's what it is, the Alaskan Native Corporation. And have you figured out a way to get around that?
Well, I can say that I work with Cherokee, I work with All Native, I work with Chickasaw, I work with numerous of them. And there were challenges, but for me, I found one that I trust that's called Gold Belt. Gold Belt, one of them is called Gold Belt Frontier, Gold Belt Apex, and I have a great relationship with one of their presidents, and I trust them, they trust us. So therefore, there's opportunities that come our way that we had that we always present them because I know for a fact they're gonna treat us fair. And it's been a great working relationship. The system is set up, you can't get around them. You can't get around them. So therefore, you got to find one that you know you can work with, that you trust, and establish that relationship.
And how long did you date and circle to find these individuals?
Well,
And what did that dating look like for you to get to a comfort level that, yeah, I kind of trust y'all?
I would say, first of all, when I first met Jasmine, who's the president of Gold Belt Frontier Apex, sometimes you meet people and you just know that they're good people. And I can say I just knew from the start that she was good people. And we started, actually not just her, me, her, another CEO. We started even taking vacations together. So we established a friendship, and I just knew she was a person I trust. Actually, to give you a quick story, we have an opportunity right now where we gave them a contract because we couldn't compete for it no more. And the government came back and said, "Hey, Terrence," I think it was yesterday, told them, "Hey, y'all pricing is not right. I need you to bring your rates down some." She called me yesterday and I was busy. I said, "Jasmine, I trust you, make it happen." She wanted to walk me through the numbers, but I trust that she's not going to screw me. I said, "Make it happen." So we established a good working relationship.
Okay. Tansy, you can come on if you like to, but she did have another question for you. People don't understand when you get into the 8A program, your fifth year is called your transitional year, where they're requiring that you have at least 15% of your contracts outside of the 8A program, and it increases each year. Her question is, what was your, I guess, strategy in managing that balance once you got into the transitional year?
I will say this here. I'm gonna throw a little shade at SBA right now. I'm gonna say when I got to that particular time, my number was totally out of whack. But at the same time, SBA was somewhat understaffed, and they couldn't keep up with everybody. So therefore, my number was totally out of whack. So I somewhat slipped through the cracks on that. Now I will say that my number stayed out of whack up until I graduated. Because again, keep in mind, I was doing so much revenue, even though I had subcontracts, I had Hub Zone, I had estimates for B, but at the same time, so much of my revenue was still 8A. So I was able to slide through the cracks and get on out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had another 8A who go ahead. But what
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. But what I
anything, I was simply laughing at Mr. Terrence and saying, "Oh my God."
But sometimes that can harm you. It makes sense to me.
Well,
meaning, I had an 8A company. She graduated. She had a mentor. He stuck her in just janitorial, and 95% of her contracts was from the 8A. So it makes sense of them putting that in because you don't want all your revenue dropping at the end.
I can say right now, because I do provide mentorship to numerous companies officially and unofficially. And I would say the right way to do it is definitely start getting some as your 8A start getting some subcontract work under your belt. Start finding ways to sub with folks. Start finding ways to compete up opportunity outside the 8A program. That's the right way. I just happen to be very fortunate that SBA was so overwhelmed that they couldn't keep up with me. So yeah, but that's the best way to do it though.
That's pretty good. I want to open it up for anyone else. We have about 10, 15 minutes. Do anyone else have any questions?
Good morning, Miss Paula.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to make a comment to Mr. Evans and remind him, and he might not remember that I met him at the NCMA gala, not last year, year before, I think. And I had just finished our course, And you told us about it, Miss Paula. And you know, me, I jumped on the plane because I wanted to see, you know, what this new industry was about. And inadvertently, I didn't know anything about TJ Fact or what the gala was about. I'm just there. I ended up sitting at the auxiliary table for TJ Fact, right? And I don't know that. I don't know any of these beautiful, lovely women that he just spoke of, probably these smarter people than him that embraced me and they welcomed me and they made me feel like I was a part of this industry. And then they start winning everything, right? So it's picture op and all of that. And Mr. Terrence comes over, right? Because he's at the way other table and we all the way over there and we do the whole Charlie's Angel photo op. But what has resonated with my soul is that was the picture for me of what this contract industry would look like, right? A brother, I'm from Chicago, CVS, I ain't gonna say the year, I'm gonna age myself so short.
Okay.
And it just gave this vision to me. So I was not only Lunch and Learns are so educational, Miss Paula, but to actually support you and see you in another area, Mr. Evans, and see your staff. And I was only out for the 2 days. And we danced together and we partied, and it was wonderful to share all the accolades that you received for your company. And so thank you for keeping it real and for being you and for keeping Chi-Town vibrant, because we are real. We keep it real no matter what, no matter what industry in, no matter where we facing. It's in our lingo, it's in our language. And I get it. It does take a minute to build your confidence. You know, it had nothing to do, and Miss Paula knows me, it has nothing to do about the intellect. It's about the confidence. And when I got out of my own way and just started listening and learning and embracing, you know, it's my time now. But I wanted to give that to you, Terrence, just for being T.
Thank you.
Well, I do thank you for that. One thing I can say that people who know me, again, I give these type of speeches all the time. And I try to keep it real. I think the people who get lost in this whole thing is let money change them. I think if you stay the same, people respect you differently. They continue to respect you. But unfortunately, I see a lot of us in this industry, we make look a few dollars and we change. We become we forget who we were. My name was Terrence. I'm Terrence now. No, don't change. Keep it real. So again, I do thank you for recognizing what we've done and what we try to do. And again, again, my thought is always to uplift others. And I'm glad you was able to see that when you came out to the function. Thank you for that.
Very good. Thank you, Sandra. Anyone else have a question?
Can I interject for just a moment? First, this is Kira Solomon. And I wanted to say, you know, thank you. Obviously, I was invited to this particular session by Labrisha. So excited to you know, to be here. But my question is to Mr. Evans, who just went off screen, but in terms of, say again.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, it's all good. So in terms of just moving the company forward, what is your process for mentorship? That's the first thing. Second thing is what, aside from just 8A, what would be maybe an easier certification to obtain? Is it a, you know, HubZone? Right now, I'm in the process for women owned. I'm in that queue for how long? But, you know, is HubZone maybe something that should be looked at as you prepare for 8A, you know?
I will say this here. Only you know, or you should know.
Got you.
What is the proper certification you probably should pursue?
Got you.
I can give you my thoughts, but I think you should understand where you're trying to take your company to, and that will guide you the way you need to go. I would say again, woman owned is definitely just the right way. But again, 8A, again, my thing I tell all folks all the time, you can't spell 8A. You don't apply for 8A until you're ready to go out there and win some work. Because every day you're in the 8A program that you're not winning, that's money being lost. It's plain and simple. But as far as the mentorship, I provide mentorship to anyone. I get everyone my cell number and say, hey, if you text me between 4 and 8 in the morning, if I'm just talking, just driving to work, whatever up, I talk to you free of charge. I know a lot of folks in this industry, they say, I ain't talking to you unless you pay me $4 an hour. I don't operate that way. If I can provide guidance, I'm available, you got my ear, you got my voice. But again, so Paula can get my number out to everybody on this call today. And again, right now I'm currently providing mentorship to a certain extent to 4 different companies. So my plate is full.
Yeah.
My plate is full. So again, if you want to, get my number, shoot me a text. Can you talk? And you need questions asked? I don't mind doing that.
And Cara, I will encourage you to come through our training as well. It's not just necessarily everybody that's entering into this space is, I want to get a contract. Whereas we want to take a holistic approach and we make everyone start at the same place, meaning you have to go and look at the budget, follow the money, understand your client, your agency. What I think helped Mr. T get ahead was he had some government contracting experience as a core. So he was already walking in the door with the language. And what the government side, having worked on SBA side, they assume that we understand the language. We understand what source of salt notice are. Most small businesses have no clue. So to me, getting the training is key. It's key.
Paul, if I can add to that, Paul, I think it's so important. If you walk up to somebody, be able to speak intelligently about have a conversation. Don't walk up and say, hey, can you give me a contract? Hell no, I can't give you no contract. Again, be able to come to someone, be able to ask something. If nothing else, just, hey, my background was in so-and-so, working in the commercial space. Be able to have an intelligent conversation. More times than not, you find small business walking up with their hand out. That game, not saying that's you, ma'am, but that game is so old. Bring it to the table, okay? And again, something to the table may not be a contract. It might be just some words of wisdom, something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Understood.
And it's relationships. I'm an advocate of NCMA. That is an organization that is not like the rest of them, where you're actually being able to build relationships with some of the agency. So, but you want to be able to talk their language, as T said.
If I could add one more thing in reference to NCMA, I joined NCMA probably 9 years ago. Now, one thing I'm going to do is go back and do some analysis to see how much money we have made from NCMA. But I can say this here, through establishing relationships through NCMA, we've got contracts from CDC, GSA, HUD. There's numerous different agents. I would say since we joined NCMA, this is no lie, we've made about $100 million from those contacts. So again, but don't join and say, hey, I want a contract next week. No, first of all, you join because it's a good cause to join. It's a good cause for the community. And if you do it the right way, you can't put no timeline. Hey, he made 100 million, therefore I should be getting a contract in 2 days. Hell no. Well, I look at it this way here. You go serve. If something good come from it, you serve. Simple as that. Hopefully you can build some business from it, but serving is a good thing to do.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Miss Paula, can I chime in right quick? Hello, everyone.
Yes. Hey, Breezy, my $1 billion
Hey, Miss
baby.
Paula. Hey. Yes. And I would just like to say it's just full circle this moment. So, Miss Paula, thank you for all that you do. I was in the office with Mr. TJ Fack about maybe 4 years ago. Our office was upstairs, and I'm like, if I'm this close to this guy, I have to try to get down there. And he is so nice. He welcomed us in. He talked to us, and we were like, well, what do you do? What do we say? He said, I make damn money. So he was just so 100. His conversation is authentic. And Kira, I had spoke with her the other day, and I invited her to come on this call because I wanted her to hear Mr. TJ Fack, and I also told her about NCMA. So then I wanted to ask Terrence a question. I've been a member of NCMA for quite a few years. But when we come into that space, what do you recommend we do when we're in that space? We do volunteer, but what else can we do so that we can get additional contracts? We were able to get a contract from CDC, so it's working, but what else can we do when we come in that environment in addition to volunteering? Thank you.
I think once you establish that first contract, you got to foster that relationship with that customer. Because again, that customer, again, what's the thing going? There's 2 degrees of separation. How 1 degree? What's that? What's that saying going again? Anyway, we all close as hell. Put it that way, okay? But again, I think once you establish that relationship with customers, and they know that you provide a good product and good service, it's gonna spread. The word spreads. But that's within your customer. But the CDC itself and NCMA, I just think if you keep volunteer and people see that kindness of volunteer, they want to give back. It might not happen when you think it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. My company, my whole organization, everything NCMA has, all my staff volunteer. We show up about 20 of us. And at the same time, I probably have given to NCMA in sponsorship dollars, maybe $100,000. But if I look at what I made, it's a drop in the bucket. But again, I don't say you can donate. You might give $250 or $500, but just give it for a good cause, and people see that happening. They want to help people who helping them.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you. We have Judith Coleman. She had a question, her hand raised.
Hi, this is wonderful. Thank you so much to Paula and T. I came on a little late. I'm at work, so I came on as soon as I could. I don't know if you talked about this in the first 15 minutes, but how long were you a contractor before you got into the program?
Just define what you mean. How long was I a contractor before I got into what program?
The 8A.
So
how long were you doing, the contracts, just general, before you got into the officially into the 8A?
Got it. We started in 2009. I became 8A in 2012.
Okay.
3 years later.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
But knowing what I know now, I probably would have waited at least 2 more years before I got in there. Because again, I was still figuring things out. And I say due to COVID, we got an extra year. But I say really, if I had another 2 years, yeah, I might be better than Bill Gates. I ain't gonna lie. I'm serious. Because I understood the program. Starting out, I did not know the program. I say it jokingly all the time to folks when they ask me to speak. A lot of folks can't spell 8A. I'm so serious about that because again, every day you're in the program, not doing anything with it, is money being lost.
Absolutely. The clock is on your back. Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I came out, because I saw it on the inside. The numbers weren't adding up. Yeah. People weren't winning because they didn't understand the process. So that's what I've created in our program. I brought the business side along with SBA's process, and nobody understands their process unless you worked on the inside. So that's what makes sense.
So Paul, if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is provide you, I created that acronym when I gave the speech at the CDC Summit.
Please do.
It's my acronym. You can create your own, but I think the word success is so subjective. But at the same time, I think if you use that word and get an acronym together of what defines what success look like for you, I think it'd be a good guide for you to run your business by.
And I think I like to close, because we're at almost 1 o'clock, with what those acronyms were for you. That's what they can write down and they can take from your lead. So you gave us a little piece of what S and the U was, but you didn't complete all of it.
Again, I tell folks all the time, I can barely spell the word success. So again, I joke a lot. I joke about a lot of things like that. But again, I would just tell you, going to school was not I hated school. I hated it. Matter of fact, I think I probably read 3 books my whole life. I started in the beginning, I jumped to the middle, and I get to the end, and I figure this shit out. And that's what I typically do. But again, success for me, I said, hey, the word S, there's steps to this thing. There's no such thing as get rich overnight. There's no such thing as that. So there's steps to become a successful company. You got to be unwavering in what you're trying to do. You got to do it for you. I mean, your drive got to be so hard that, again, the failure is not an option. So unwavering. C, you gotta have a cause. What's your cause? Your cause can't be my cause. Again, your cause cannot be my cause. And again, if you know what your cause is, guess what? Close your doors. Okay? And I really mean that. Close your door. You gotta have a cause. Yeah, I get my words mixed up. Success, SUCC. Okay, again, you got to care about something. What you got to care? What do you care about? So once you find your cause, you got to really be caring about what you're trying to do. E, you got to stay engaged. You got to stay engaged. Staying engaged, not just with your own internal customers, but your external customers, your employees. Again, if you're not engaged, again, you're lost out there. S, you got to sell. Always be selling. Always be selling. Always be selling. And guess what? Something that we as Black folks have a hard time do. Once you start winning and selling, you got to save. You got to start saving. Don't go out there and buy all these Lamborghinis and all this, trying to keep up with the Joneses. But that's why I created my own acronym for what success meant to me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Was this a great interview? Thank you. Thank you. It was a great interview for me.
I say this here. Thank you, Paula. It was an honor to speak to your group here. And I can say this here. Paula's out there doing amazing things. I talk to folks all the time. I went to Miss Paula class. I went to Miss Paula class. So again, I thank you for what you're doing, because again, we can't do it alone. You gotta surround yourself with positive people, people who mean well by you, and more time than not, it's not your damn family, it's not your friends. Okay? So as you're trying to build what you're trying to build, keep in mind you are responsible for your own success.
Thank you. That's a perfect word to close on. So thank you again. We wish you continued success. You part of the family. You know, if you need any help, we got the SBA people on our side.
I see.
All right. Keep doing good.
So
Thank you.
Paula, one last thing. I'm gonna give you my cell number right now to the group here.
Okay.
I tell everybody right now, send me a text. This is so-and-so, so-and-so. I got a question. Can you talk? 99.9% of the time, I said I can talk. Text me between 4 and 8. That's the best time to catch me. So my number is 202-294-9181. Okay. Now, if you call me, keep in mind, I might tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you how I think. And don't get offended by it and shit, okay? I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Thank you for offering that to the community. Again,
no
we all trying to be like you. We want to grow up and be like you.
All right, then, Miss Lady.
All right. Have a
Miss
great
Paula,
Friday.
Miss
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
I have something I want to say to Terrence. Congratulations, and sorry that I wasn't able to sign your official graduation letter.
Okay.
But look what I'm still holding on to.
I see that. Yeah, I see that. Thank you. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Oh, TJ Fat. All right.
Matter of fact, what I do also, I have a poker chip that I give to different people as well. We have all kind of little marketing gadgets. I mean, my employees have all kind of marketing stuff. I probably shouldn't say this here for my real close employees. They even got TJ Fat panties. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, but hey, they believe in the cause. What we're trying to do. Okay.
All right.
All right, then.
All right. Thank you.
all.
Bye-bye.